everyone, I'm here at a place which is familiar to many of you. It's Lisa Cleeton's magical barn. Lisa has kindly agreed to do a little massage routine for us as a demo on one of her beautiful dogs. So Lisa Cleeton is an animal physiotherapist based out in Preston Pans who visits lots of you already, I know, or you come to her. So I will flip the camera hopefully and Lisa will show us what to do.
Hi, I'm Lisa Cleeton. I'm a veterinary physiotherapist. This is Pixie. She is a retired gun dog, so we just rehomed her a couple of years ago. She's a working cocker. She's been eating some of my curry nuts that are hanging out her mouth there. So I'm just going to show you a nice wee routine that you can do at home on your dogs. So I quite like to start on your dog's head because I think that's a bit that they're usually used to being patted on, so it's not too weird if you suddenly start touching them there. Things to be aware of when you are massaging your own dog is I always like to do what I call it liberty, so I'm not holding on to it, I've not got a lead on her, so that if you hit a sore bit, it's much better that they can leave rather than feel stressed and maybe get a bit upset and start growling and things. Things to look out for if you do hit an area that's maybe a bit tender, especially if you've got an older dog like Pixie, because she's about 10, that they might just suddenly glance at you, and that's quite a useful thing to be aware of. A sudden glance can just mean that, ow, like that was sore, don't do that again. So take note of that sort of thing because you don't want to accidentally get nipped. If they start lip licking, that means the bit you're on could be a bit uncomfortable, so again just go to a different area and maybe just take note of that to discuss with your vet. And obviously if they get up and leave altogether, then take that as a big hint that they're not too happy with you doing it. So those are just some health and safety measures for you and your dog when you're doing some massage at home. So as I said, I quite like to start on the top of the head. And Nero has just came to join and you might see him in a second. So these two little muscles on the top of the head, quite often as your dog gets older they get a bit atrophied, so a bit muscle wasted, so they're quite a nice bit to work on. So you just work with your thumb and your finger and just massage from the eye back to the ears. Now on your dog or your horse or your mule, as well as here to point out, all of the muscles have a matching pair. So if you're touching one side of a muscle you think, oh, that feels a bit weird, it's maybe a bit hard, or the dog doesn't like that, try palpating. That just means touching the other part of the muscle just to get a bit of feedback. So Pixie's just getting a bit hot here, so I'm just going to give it a bit more shade. So massaging that back and forward, just nice long strokes, and that's quite a nice way just to start with your dog. So once you've given that muscle a little bit of a massage, I always think this muscle here, that's out of your dog's mouth, works really hard. So that muscle they use probably about 1 million times a day. If you think about it, every time they lick, every time they chew, every time they bark, every time they open their mouth, they use this muscle here. So this is quite a nice muscle. Just use your 2 fingertips and just do some gentle little massage in circles all over that cheek muscle. And the thing to be aware of, I said earlier, if you get any sort of pain response from your dog, if you got any sort of pain response as you were massaging this muscle, it's quite a thin sheet of muscle, and on the other side of it is their teeth. So if you were doing some gentle work on that, it's called the masseter muscle, then you might think to yourself, oh, they don't really like that, I better get their teeth checked. So as well as this being a nice thing to do, it just gives you a couple of little health checks to do on your dog. So just 2 fingertips, nice circles. And always have your other hand as a supporting hand, so I'm not massaging her and she's in the brace against me. I'm meeting my own pressure, which is nice and light. And just doing that round about that muscle. I'm going to do both sides, I just keep chopping and changing as Pixie moves from the camera. So that's that one, nice long strokes. This one's little circles. And then let's move on to the ears. Now, ears on dogs are great. So a really useful little technique that I'm going to show you next is really good for relaxing your dog, especially if you're sitting in the vets or there's somewhere that they're a little bit stressed. So you take your thumb and your finger and you just go to the top of their ear and you just slide down. And then at the bottom of the ear, you just want to hold for a couple of seconds because there's a little acupressure point under there that's quite nice for relaxing. So then just keep going back to the top and just slide down a bit. You see that Pixie quite likes that. Good girl, Pixie. So that holding at the bottom is the important one for relaxing them. Good girl. And then you just want to repeat that on the other ear. Thumb and finger, slide down. You're kind of moving back on a thumb and thumb and finger space size each time you go back. Good girl, Pigs. Okay, on your dog's neck, because if you think about this neck, most dogs wear a collar, so that neck, especially if you walk your dog on a lead on the collar, those neck muscles have to work quite hard. And if you've ever watched a really fast dog galloping, the head is like a pendulum, so that head and neck work really hard in dogs that run about quite a lot. So just moving Pixie's collar up a bit. If you're doing it at home, you can take your collar off. And you want to feel behind the ears, and you feel two little bony bits. Those are called the wings of the atlas. So you just want to check your dog's got two. They should always have two, just like we're worried if they don't. And start off touching them. So again, like when we worked on the cheek, you want to have what's called a mother hand, so a supporting hand, and your working hand. So mother hand is static, and your supporting hand just wants to start behind those ears on those bony bits, and just work nicely up and down. Oh, that's nice, Pixie, isn't it? So coming from behind the ear, all the way down to the shoulder. And it's important as well to always keep your fingers closed, especially on a dog who's got fluffy coat, because if you've got your fingers open, you're more likely to get caught in the fur and pull the fur, which wouldn't be that nice for your dog. So nice strokes up and down. And you could repeat that on the other side, so this becomes my static hand, my holding hand. And reach up and down on the other side. And so that might be an area where you get a little bit pain indication, and if it is, that would be something just to discuss with your vet. So this is your dog's shoulder here, and dogs don't have a collarbone, so all that holds the front legs on are muscles. So it's really important to help keep those muscles round about the shoulder in good working order. So just do a nice outline round the front of the shoulders, and down into the oxter. It's a good Scottish word. Down into our oxters. So as you go down into that oxter, especially if it's a muddy time of year or an icy time of year, the muscles that sit underneath the chest are quite prone to getting damaged when it's slippy and slidey. So as I said, the dog's got no collarbone, just muscles that's holding it on. So if you imagine your dog hits an icy bit or a muddy bit, and that leg suddenly goes out to the side, these areas, these muscles under here called the pectoral muscles, are quite prone to a bit damage. So again, if you were giving them a little gentle massage down the front of them, just be aware for any lip licking or any looking at you or moving away. And if there was a bit damage, you would maybe feel a bit swelling or a bit heat. Good girl, Pixie. Pixie, come. Pixie. It's non-conformist now. Pixie, come. Pix.
Have to eat whatever that was.
Yeah. That's a little bit poop. That's nice. Pixie sit. Good girl. Well, that's helpful because I'm just about to move on to the back. Okay, so we've done down the front of the shoulders, and then you can give up and down, closed fingers, smooth hand, flat hand, up and down the side of the shoulder as well. And when you're doing this massage, as I said earlier, that dogs have always got a matching pair of two muscles. So if you're feeling this side of her shoulder and you thought, oh, that's a nice juicy muscle, like a good big steak, but then you went to touch the other side and it was really flat and cold, that could just be a bit of an indication that there's something going on in some of your dog's joints in his front leg. So again, these are nice things to do at home, but are also a bit of a health check that you'd want to speak to your vet about. So then let's move down onto our dog's back. So all of our dogs will have a spine. So as you run your finger across your dog's back that way, again, fingers closed, feel for the spine. And then they've got a back muscle that runs down either side of that spine. And again, that should be nice and even. The only dogs who I really see where those back muscles are uneven would be if they've had spinal surgery, and sometimes they've got dips where they've been operated on. But most dogs should have nice, smooth muscle down either side. So a nice technique to do your dog's back muscles is to make your hand in a V like this, and then you want to put that spine in the centre of your V. And nice flat hand, fingers closed, and come as far back as you can and just massage right up and down. That's lovely for dogs because they use that back quite a lot to stabilise their body. So I would say do 10 strokes with that hand. Start right at the tail, work all the way up to those wings of Atlas behind your ears. 10 strokes with that hand. And sometimes as you're doing that, you might feel a little shudder in the skin. So just go a little bit more slowly there and just maybe do some of the 2 circle things that we did on the cheek. just shows that there's maybe a little bit of tension in the muscle that we want to loosen off before you do this quite big fascial movement. And then you can just swap hands and do the other side. Good girl, Pixie. So again, we would do 10 on that side. It doesn't have to be 10, but try and do the same with each hand. I'm just going to scooch Pixie around a wee bit. Luckily, she doesn't mind being manhandled. And we're going to come to this big muscle here. So this big muscle here is your dog's gluteal muscle, and that's the muscle that works the hip joint. So again, like if you saw any muscle wastage or sort of differences in the muscle tone with the shoulder muscles, you'd want to check that both of those gluteal muscles feel the same on your dog. Because they're the ones that move the hip, it could just indicate that there's a little bit of a hip issue going on if they're not even. So again, nice flat hand, and just stroke over that sort of peachy bum muscle. And if your dog's a bit older, they'll probably quite appreciate that. And I'm using quite light pressure, so if the pressure was between 1 and 10, I would say maybe about a 1 or a 2 going over that hip joint, because if you imagine what you'd want massage over your own hip, you wouldn't want a big hard pressure. And I always say to men to be quite gentle, because sometimes they're a bit heavy handed. But you know, I likewise, men or women, just be a bit careful. So nice strokes over those peachy bum muscles. Good girl, Pixie. Good. And then we want to just have a wee focus on the back legs. I'm just going to get Pixie to stand up for a second. Stand up, Pixie, or lie down. Good. Okay, so like us, we've got a muscle that runs up the front of our thigh called the quadriceps, and that's this muscle that runs down the front of your dog's leg. And then we've got a hamstring too, and that's this muscle at the back. So I quite like to do just different hand actions that keep it simple for people. So this time I call it a little duck's mouth. So a little duck's mouth like that. Good girl, Pixie. And you want to put your duck's mouth, keeping your fingers tightly closed, into the front of your dog's leg, and just gently massage up and down the front of the thigh. This is your dog's knee area here. So again, like if you think about what you want massaged on yourself, you don't really want the kneecap massage. So you want to stop at the knee. So depending on the size of your dog, obviously a longer legged dog, you've got a longer bit to go on. Just a nice massage up and down the front there. Just proceed with some caution of going on the inside of your dog's thigh there, because some dogs find that a little bit sensitive. So just very, very light pressure, maybe even a 1 or a 0.5, just to start off with. Good girl, Pix. So again, between 5 and 10 strokes. And what I normally say to people is, you'll find which bit of your dog they love being massaged. And quite often, once they find out the bit that they know that they like getting massaged, they'll start presenting that to you. So quite often I've got dogs who come in for physio and they're like, it's my shoulder today. So they really do get quite in tune with it quite quickly. So then I'm just going to swing Pixie back a bit and do her hamstring. So again, the little duck mouth, come into the back of her leg and massage up and down the back of that hamstring muscle. So again, between 5 and 10 times. And again, massage 1. And then you want to turn your dog over. Just turn Pixie over because she doesn't want to be manhandled. Good girl, Pixie. And massage the other one. And again, you want them both to feel like a nice bit steak. You don't want one to feel like a bit steak and one to feel like a wee dried out chicken bone. Because again, that would be an indication that there's maybe something going wrong with the dried out chicken bone leg. Good girl, Pixie. And if you find you've maybe done the front half of your dog and then the dog's like, right, I'm done with today, leave that, and then the next day maybe do the back, and then the next day maybe do the hindquarters. You know, you don't have to follow this whole thing through. But I'll just run through it again for you. Just scooch you up a wee bit, Pixie. So we're starting on the head. We're doing thumb and finger, working from the eyes, back to the ears. Nice long strokes. And that's our starting point. Then we'll take the 2 fingers together. And we're doing some nice circular massage from the eye all down the cheek, back to the ear. Got your supporting hand and your working hand. Pick it up, Pixie. Then we do our nice ear slides. Pixie's got the good ears for doing these ear slides. So thumb and finger, start at the front of the ear, slide down and pinch the bottom. Move along thumb and fingers distance, slide down. Good. Then we're going to come down the front, or we're going to do the neck. We're going to pull the collar out gently out of the road and work up and down the neck muscles. scooching down into rocksters. Remember, if the ground's been slippy or slidey, check for any swelling. Flat hand up and down the shoulder. Don't worry about going down onto the leg because there's only tiny little muscles in the top of the leg, and most dogs don't really appreciate it being massaged. Then we're going to do our V, fingers closed. V on the centre of the dog's spine. And you're going to massage up and down from the top of their tail right up to their neck. You've got your whole hand flat on the back. 10 strokes for that hand. And then 10 strokes for that hand. Now you're going to check out peachy bum muscles. Nice light stroke over those hip muscles. And then your little duck's mouth. Up and down front of the quadricep. And then turn your duck's mouth round. Up and down the hamstrings. So just to review, don't be forcing your dog to be massaged. If it moves away, let it move away. Watch out for sudden head turns towards you, lip licks, growler. Obviously, you know you definitely hit a sore bit. Work through this sort of little session and see which bit your dog likes the most. And you might find that's the bit you mostly do, but you've got a bit longer time when they're lying on the couch beside you. You can do it all. And there you go. Have fun.